From the After 9 podcast studios, this is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends. where do we begin here?
Okay, so today's pod is going to be a little bit different. It might sound a little different. I'm not even 100% sure how this is going to come out. We had a little problem here in that we should explain how our setup works. So our main studio is in Kitchener, right at Sports World Crossing. And they built us a podcast studio because we used to do it a lot more than we do now, but occasionally we would drop some colorful language in the pod. So they gave us a different studio to record After 9 in so that we would never be tempted to drop any of those F-bombs in the main studio. And we like that. That separation is fantastic. It means we'll never slip up and drop one of those on the actual airwaves. But our podcast studio is currently out of commission because of a small electrical issue that was entirely brought on by us.
It was supposed to be small. At least we thought it was. It turned out to be a bigger issue than we thought. But it was freezing in here. We are here very early in the morning. It is cold outside. And for some reason, this thermostat system we have either runs cold or hot. It can't fluctuate between the two. So it was freezing cold in here and pumping cool air. Just awful. So we couldn't really work. That's what I'm going to go with here, by the way. This is what we couldn't really work to a full ability, you know? So we grabbed a space heater and we plugged it in. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? One of the things that you're never supposed to do in a radio station is plug in something external. The engineers, and yes, they are actual engineers, have done very, very good work to balance out all the voltage and everything to make sure that we're not overloaded. But if we plug something in, that changes the whole grid. And we thought we were being clever by plugging it into a different outlet than whatever all the radio stuff is plugged into.
We thought we'll do it there because we don't need that outlet anyway if it does blow.
Right. Oh, the only thing plugged into that outlet was our coffee maker and stuff like that. Turns out there's a lot more on that circuit than we thought, and it blew. So the studio is down where we record the podcast, and we're in the main on-air studio, and that it's weird being in here to do the pod.
It is weird, but we got to do what we got to do.
Absolutely. So again, it'll sound a little different, and I don't even know if this is going to be a permanent thing because apparently the breaker itself is blown.
Yeah.
They got to call an electrician in, and we don't exactly have a lot of extra money for things like that.
Shout out to our engineer, Spencer. What a nice guy who was probably so thrilled to get that phone call early in the morning. But I said to him, well, if anything, you should thank us. We found a problem. There was clearly an issue with this particular panel.
Remarkable that we didn't find it sooner.
He did not think I was funny. He did not think I was funny at all.
It's a good thing Dave's out of the office today because I did not want to sit through a meeting. Not when the Leafs are playing tonight anyway.
Not at all. Coming up this long weekend is Thanksgiving. And we promised you earlier in the week, if you heard Monday's pod, Octavia was in, as we discussed Thanksgiving. Octavia just moved into her new home with her boyfriend. Exciting times. She's officially in the house, and she is set to host Thanksgiving. First of all, do you do Thanksgiving on the Sunday, on the Monday? I know everybody's a little different. Saturday even?
So for this, we're hosting on the Monday.
On the Monday. So is this...
That's risky, by the way, because if you realize, oh, crap, we don't have any cranberry sauce. Stores are closed.
You're screwed. You got to go to the convenience store, maybe, see what they have, rustle that up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine.
Hey, before we go any further, it just occurred to me, this is our first holiday with beer in convenience stores. Normally, the beer store would be closed on Thanksgiving. Can we buy beer in convenience stores on Monday?
I think so. Like, they're not going to ban us from purchasing liquor on a holiday, are they?
I hope not. Huh? Boy, oh boy, if I go into a 7-Eleven or a Circle K on Monday and they've got like the padlock over the beer, I'm going to lose my shit.
Test it out, though. We got to test it out. Okay, so that's...
Back to the topic at hand.
Back to the topic at hand. So Octavia is hosting on the Monday. Very good. Fine. Is it dinner? Is it lunch? What time are you doing the hosting?
I'm assuming it's dinner, but I haven't actually...
Wait, what?
Asked.
How do you not ask?
Assuming.
It's your house. You tell them this is what's happening.
I was just kind of brought into this, and my boyfriend said, can we have my family over? And I said, okay. And then I didn't ask a lot more questions.
So it's the boyfriend's family that you're hosting for the very first time.
Yes.
And you get along well with them, I'm going to hope and assume.
They're nice people?
Great. Good,
Of
good,
course.
good. We
Okay,
like that.
good,
we like
good.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I've done as a service to you and everyone listening, really, is I've looked into Martha Stewart's tips for Thanksgiving hosting.
Have you ever cooked a turkey dinner before, by the way?
No, I'm very unqualified.
Wow. All right. But your boyfriend must think the world of you. Bringing the family over the first week that you're moved into a new house together and saying you got to cook for the whole family.
I'm nervous. Thankfully, we're not in charge of the turkey, so I'm very happy about that.
Bit of a potluck situation?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit? Okay, that's helpful.
That'll take some pressure off.
I think so, too. So let's go through the list one by one here. Number 1, have you finalized your guest list?
I think so.
You made sure? Any of those late RSVP Larrys still lingering, not letting you know if they're coming or not?
As far as I know, everyone's coming.
Okay,
so
great. Good. Plan the menu is her second tip. And do this as early as possible so you make sure that you don't miss out on shopping for what you need to shop for. You got your list? You're good.
Yeah,
You're an organized person. I believe you have a list. You're fine there. Design your decor. They say Thanksgiving aesthetics range from on-theme turkey stuff to minimalist tablescapes, muted seasonal tones. The most important part of preparing yours is knowing what you have and knowing what you need to bring it all together. You should also map out your serving pieces against your menu. Do you have enough platters, bowls, serving utensils?
Well, first of all, our decor is all the random stuff we have yet to find a home for.
Okay, yeah.
Beautiful theme.
Yep.
The great cardboard Thanksgiving. Very good.
That's pretty much it, yeah. And as
you could draw a turkey on the outside of the boxes, though, to keep up with the theme.
Maybe I will,
Yeah.
actually.
Do you want to borrow my kids to do some art on your boxes?
They can send some over,
Fabulous. Okay. All right, fabulous. We figured that one out.
Do you have serving stuff, or is everything just going to go on a dinner plate?
Well, there's going to be some paper plate action.
Yeah.
You know what? Nothing wrong with that.
No.
For cutlery and that, also maybe a little iffy. We're going to do some digging, but
When I got my first house, I had 4 forks, 4 knives, 4 spoons, and 4 tablespoons. And that was just what I stole from my parents' house. Like, are you in a similar setup, or do you at least have like a drawer full of utensils and plates and stuff?
we do have, like, I would say a good amount of utensils, but I think we only have like 4 knives that, you know, came in the knife block and things like that. So
you're going to do a pre-cut turkey dinner where you cut up everything into bite-sized pieces before you serve it.
Yeah.
Or medieval time style. Just throw it on their plate and make them eat it by hand.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Medieval times. That's exciting.
Personally, I could probably go for that, but in the since it's a big event and it's not just me eating, I will be on my best behavior.
Fair enough.
What else does Martha say?
So I order rental items where needed. I think we can skip by that part. We don't need to worry
I
about
hope
that.
so.
That's a little much, right? Have you prepared your guest rooms or decided where people would stay if they decide that they're going to stay over?
Can you
Does that
imagine?
happen? By the way, in
Walk up to
my
the
house,
host?
that does not happen.
No.
No,
I've got a firm exit at 9 rule at my place.
We don't hardly have, like, we just moved in furniture for a guest room. Thankfully, everybody's in town or pretty close to. And if not, you get a nice cushy air mattress as your other option.
Oh,
So
that's nice of you to even offer that. That's really nice. That's great.
I'd be telling him to sleep on the lawn or find a Holiday Inn or something. You're not staying here. Not a
I didn't
chance.
say that. I didn't say you could stay here.
I said dinner. That's it.
Really, her last tip for this is make sure your house is clean. Cleaning in advance can help reduce overall stress. Make sure bathrooms especially are wiped down and deep cleaned. That will allow you to focus on your day of hosting duties.
there needs to be some cleaning as well. Like I said, we're still organizing, so there's a lot to do.
You got like a pumpkin pie candle you can light? I find those are very popular.
I have a couple random candles that I was given,
Perfect.
so one of those will
I
work.
think you're ready. Like I think this is going to be great.
Hold on. Did you get a nice tablecloth?
You know, we didn't, but I think we have one in our camping stuff.
A camping tablecloth.
You know
is
what?
it?
tablecloth,
Oh,
yeah.
I am anti-tablecloth.
What?
Not
Who's anti-tablecloth?
I am anti-tablecloth. Everything slides around with a tablecloth. It doesn't look that nice. Like, there's no tablecloth that looks that nice. People will just stain it and piss you off because you pay like X amount of money for it, usually like a good amount. And just make sure that you're just clean it afterwards. You're fine. I don't think tablecloths are necessary at all.
Okay. What about the wardrobe? Like, you're going to be hosting, and I think people expect a good presentation when they come to your house. Did you pick out a nice day dress or something like that?
I don't know anybody
a
that
day dress?
yeah.
What year is this?
Well, she's not going to wear one of the slutty cocktail dresses. You wear a day dress when you're hosting for dinner.
A day dress?
There's a lot of options in between slutty cocktail dress and what I would assume a day dress looks like.
Walk into Aritzia and ask them where they keep the finest day dresses.
Yes, yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna wear. I mean, I'll dress up a little, but I don't know. I think keep it pretty casual.
Are you nervous about doing this?
Yeah.
I'll bet you are. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, especially when the first one is with his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I know everybody's just happy to be there to eat together and everything, but for me, it's like, oh my God, I've never done this before.
Have you
want it
thought
nice.
about like ambiance in terms of like, is there going to be music in the background? Like for me, I always have some form of music in the background. It makes it less awkward if conversation lulls down a little bit, maybe.
I would say yes, but probably not my personal playlist.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Are there any little kids there, or is everybody an adult?
Thankfully, everybody's grown.
That's good, because you don't have then you well, I know it's like because then you don't have to worry about like having activities for them or them running around and all that stuff.
Shit themselves, that sort of thing.
Shitting themselves and messing with your stuff. And okay, great. That's good news.
Okay, so you've got I'm seeing a picture in my head of what this is going to look like. Everybody gathered all around. Does everybody have a chair at the head table there?
Ooh, that's a good. Do you have enough chairs?
We did count out the chairs. We have exactly enough.
Perfect.
That worked
But
out well.
we need to borrow a table.
Oh, there's some in the kitchen here. You
Stop.
could probably just take one with
I'm
you.
not kidding. No,
You
we
don't
don't
have
have a
any
table.
table?
We have a small card table that we've been eating at, and the table that will be big enough will also have to go in the living room. We have a small house.
Okay. I have a folding table. If you do need to borrow one, you're welcome to
I
come.
think we have one. For the housewarming, we used a beer pong table, but we're going to class it up a little more this time.
beer
Good for
pong
you.
Thanksgiving doesn't sound bad though.
From a, yeah. Oh, I mean, hey, I see the evolution.
I like this.
You
Very
can't
good.
expect too much. We just moved in. Like
They shouldn't expect too much, but what I will say, and Martha didn't even put this down, and I'm shocked. Are you going to be serving alcohol?
Yes.
And you'll be selecting that and telling people, don't worry, it's not a bring your own booze. I've got you covered. You've got the wine.
We have, if I'm being
Beer.
truthful, we have some wine left over from our housewarming.
Perfect.
And
doesn't matter where it comes from. Who cares?
So-
it could be regifted. Nobody cares. It's fine.
Yeah, it's wine. Everybody can have
Then
some wine.
I think you're good. Like, I think you're set up for success here. Do you have wine glasses?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Look at you go.
I don't know where they
She
came
didn't say
from.
she does. She said she thinks she
Thanks.
does.
You know what? That's okay.
I'll confirm
You know
today.
what? It's fine. People will, you know what? Let me tell you, people who are desperate enough to have wine will have it out of a regular drinking
I was
glass.
going to
This
say,
is true.
yeah, we have other glasses. If we're really hard up, I know we have red Solo cups. If we're really classing it up.
I love it.
I see
Yeah.
that look,
I
Scott.
love it. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you could read my face.
Like, ugh. Okay.
I'm very excited for you. This is a big leap forward into adulthood, pardon the expression. Hosting your own Thanksgiving dinner in your own home that you bought with your money. That's a big thing. I'm not surprised you're nervous, but I think you're going to knock it out of the park, Octavia.
I'm feeling all right about it. Once I do a little more organizing of the random things that are just out and about in the house, then I think it'll come together.
And what is the expectation for your boyfriend in all this? Because it seems like there's a lot of pressure on you to put on this perfect Thanksgiving dinner. Is he contributing in any way? Is he looking for the solo cups as well? Or
Yeah, he's definitely going to contribute. We'll get the shopping and all that done together. And
Good.
He's in on the mashed potatoes, very invested. So I'm thinking that he'll play a big part in that. So we'll be
Hosting
good.
with your partner for the first time is always interesting because then you really find out the type of person that they are. Are they like a neat freak that like walks around cleaning up after everybody? Are they the type that just is like, whatever, we can throw this here, and you're thinking in the back of your mind like, oh, that's embarrassing. It's interesting.
so how did it go the first time you and your husband hosted something in your home?
Yeah, we oh gosh, I guess I have to go way back for that one, I guess. But okay. I don't think it was any that much different than probably Octavia's experience is going to be. We didn't have a lot of stuff when we first moved into our place either. And I remember my mom specifically helping out by bringing stuff that some of it I didn't give back, by the way.
Nobody ever does.
No, she was like, here's the serving. I'll give it to you on the serving platter. Just give it back to me after you wash it. I was like, okay. then I'll wash it
Sure,
never.
I'll get right on that.
So I do remember people helping out a lot, knowing like they probably don't have a lot of stuff. So I think the expectation is not going to be like super outrageous Martha Stewart-esque.
You should go to Swiss Chalet. I think that's where everybody gets their first set of silverware. You go to Swiss Chalet and you just grab it all off the table and put it in your purse or something like that. And that's how you get your first set of knives, forks, and spoons.
Or Swiss Chalet.
Well, I don't know. Swiss Chalet is like the quick serve restaurant that has actual silverware.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't use Burger King or McDonald's utensils.
Right.
Who wants to eat off of a wooden spoon?
There's all kind of different restaurants you could take stuff from.
We're going to get her arrested before dinner.
Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. That's exciting, though. We did get a text in, by the way. If you do need help unpacking things still, a texter who is a fan of our show says that what you should do is go get little gift bags and make it a game to help you unpack stuff while you're busy cooking dinner and doing all the other things. Make it competitive and have a grand prize for the person who unpacks the most. See, I personally hate that idea.
Nope.
Like, don't touch my stuff. But if that's not up your alley.
No,
okay.
there's a place for everything. Whether I know where it is yet or not, I don't want you to
Don't
just
touch it.
Then
Yeah,
I'll
got it,
lose
got
it.
it,
Things
got it,
are
got
just
it.
going to be gone, and I'm not going to know where anything is.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to spend your whole day saying that doesn't go there. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Put that down, Uncle Fred. Stuff like that.
Well, good luck to you. I'm very optimistic, and I know you're going to knock it out of the park. I do want to know, though, when are Kat and I getting invited over?
After Thanksgiving, when we have a real table.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
I like that. That's fine.
I kind of want to sit at the beer pong table just to see what
I
goes
know.
on there.
This Thanksgiving sounds fun.
I know. Doesn't it sound like
I
less
might
pretentious
leave.
than what we're planning?
I might leave mine to go there.
I'm actually hitting the road this weekend. I'm going to see my sister who just relocated to Ottawa for
fabulous.
work.
Now, are you staying over there? Are you staying one day? What is it?
Yeah, so I'm spending 2 nights, 1 day.
2 nights there.
Yeah, Friday night, Saturday night. I'm going to be in the Ottawa Valley, everybody. It's great.
Very good.
I've never spent a night at my little sister's house.
Yeah.
And this is her first house as well. So she's making a turkey and the whole 9 yards, and she's an exceptional cook. Almost as good as me.
Fantastic.
And she invited me over, and I thought, well, 5-hour drive, sure, I'll do it. So I'm excited. I've got some Thanksgiving
Good.
plans this weekend too.
That's fantastic.
What are you doing?
So my parents are going to host Thanksgiving on my side, and I got out of it. I got out of it completely. My lovely sister-in-law, my husband's sister, is hosting for his side of the family.
Wow.
So we got off the hook there. We're bringing things. Both of them are kind of like potluck style. So I will be bringing things to both happily. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be easy peasy. I'm at one place one day, one place the other. It's good.
I love it. Okay, Octavia's good. We've got her sorted out. And a few more days if we come up with anything new. Hey, everyone, you've just listened to a 17-minute conversation about hosting for the first time in your house. We're going to continue this conversation tomorrow on the radio shows. So if you want to tell us your story, what happened the first time you hosted in your house? Was it epic, amazing? Did it lead to an instant annulment? How did it go? 1-833-915-7469. That's 1-833-915-SHOW. A couple other things we want to get to in this episode. Let the heartbreak begin. The new Leaf season begins tonight.
It's a crammed beginning of the regular season, by the way. It's tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday. Hopefully they win them all. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be. A little savage, though, to schedule the second game of the year against former coach Sheldon Keefe. They're going to be in New Jersey tomorrow night.
I'm wondering, you might know this off the top of your head, and if not, no worries. I don't expect it of you. Do you know if any of our Leafs are from Florida?
Well, Lorenz, we just signed to a 1-year contract. He did a professional tryout. Didn't he play for Florida last year? He won a Stanley Cup with them, right?
It must be on the mind of a lot of people. I mean, in general, right now, anyone who's from Florida or knows people in Florida. But I was just thinking, you're trying to get your head in the game. And if you know people there, it probably is something that'll be on his mind tonight.
Hurricane Milton's wind speeds, as we record, have decreased slightly, but the storm is still a Category 5. As of right now, it's in the Gulf of Mexico, barreling toward Florida. The U.S. National Hurricane Center pegs Milton's maximum sustained winds at 260 kilometers an hour.
Whoa.
You ever gone on anything at 260 kilometers an hour besides an airplane?
I don't think so.
If your car drove that fast, it would vibrate and probably explode. That's really powerful. They say this is going to be one of the most powerful hurricanes in almost 100 years. Forecasters urged millions of residents along Florida's west coast heed the evacuation orders and move inland. Did you see any of the mayors of like Sarasota and St. Pete's Beach and places like that?
No, I was watching a lot of like the Weather Network coverage, that kind of thing.
Okay, let's come back to that. I'll tell you, these mayors, savage, but I think it needs to be done. They're flat out saying, evacuate or die. Those are your two options. And when they put it to you like that, holy cow. But they want people out of there. And for the most part, they seem to be. The Weather Network has got a whole bunch of people down in Florida. And I'm really hoping we don't see for this hurricane tonight what we've seen for so many hurricanes in the past. Some asshole reporter standing on the beach with a microphone getting blown halfway across the beach just to give you a right here, here's what it looks like and feels like.
Yeah, it's not. And at this point, too, we're not impressed. At least I'm not impressed by it. You know what I mean? I see someone who's like putting their life at risk like that. I don't think, oh, good for you. How impressive. I think, like, what a dumb thing to do.
This has led to a number of text messages. We got one earlier today on our radio show. It's from a longtime listener who used to live in Kitchener-Waterloo. His wife just got a great job. I know where it is, but I said I would keep it quiet. She's working in Sarasota, Florida now. They just moved, and this happens. They dodged a bullet with Helene last week. This one is going to hit right in their area. So they did what they were told to do. They evacuated. They just got to Myrtle Beach. That's where they decided to ride out the storm. But they have no idea what they're going to be going back to when they start heading back to Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing. Like, could you even imagine? I try to put myself in that spot, and I can't. I can't even think about the fact that you could leave and then come back and your house is gone, and then God forbid anything else that comes of it. And we know, like, isn't it sad to know that there's going to be deaths?
I mean, we know it's coming, and people had a choice to leave.
They did,
and
yes.
I still think that we let adults be adults. I don't think there should be a mandatory evacuation in the truly mandatory sense. I think you tell people to leave or you'll die. Those are all fine. But ultimately, if someone chooses not to leave, I think we just respect their choice. However, I would never, ever expect emergency services to go and rescue someone who had every opportunity to leave and still said, no, I'm staying. So if you're down there, maybe you're listening to this pod. If you're in the hurricane area, hunker down, be safe. But remember, you made a choice, and we don't want firefighters and EMS and police officers having to go out into that storm to rescue you when you had a chance to leave.
Oh, and that's traumatic all on its own as well.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting, a couple of things on it, actually. You mentioned the Weather Network, the graphics that they've got. When did this happen, that they got better graphics than Fox and CNN?
And you know what? And I don't know if they all must have got it at the same time. And you could tell how excited they were because for them, this is like their Christmas, right? Even though it's a sad situation, natural disasters are kind of what they're there for too, right? A part of their job is to make sure that they keep on track of it. So when they presented what it would be like, and it looks like, for those who haven't seen it, I mean, look it up. I think these videos are incredible. But the meteorologist basically is standing there, and behind them, it looks like they are in the middle of a street, let's say, for example. And they'll show you, this is what it looks like with 3 feet of water. This is going to be the minimum in some areas. At this point, cars will start to float, and this starts to happen, and basements start to definitely flood. And
were you shocked at that? I didn't know a car will float. If it's completely submerged in water, a car floats. I guess it's because of the tires. I would have thought it was too heavy.
Yeah. And then it shows you at 6 feet. And some places are going to get 9 feet. And then it shows you the damage by the winds as well. Some of them were. So to see it like that before the hurricane even happens, you wonder, like, how can people stay there knowing that this could be the outcome? And it's too late to be rescued. By the time they're 3 feet deep in water, it's too late to be rescued unless there is some form of a good citizen that happened to say screw it and be on a boat and grab you. And even then, you can't even be sure that you're going to be okay.
Yeah. It's scary all around. But the
is.
Weather Network is doing great. I also love what Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has done. He has ordered the state penitentiaries to get some of the inmates out there in Tampa and the surrounding area right now filling sandbags. So in other words, let me put it to you a different way. Octavia's still here. I'll ask her too. We've got some real shitheads in jail right now. Just some of the worst people in our society are in jail. Some of them. Would you be okay with going to the prisoners in an Ontario prison and saying to them, we got a big hurricane coming, we need sandbags? We're going to knock a fifth of your sentence off. If you go out and work hard and don't try and escape, if you just go out there and fill sandbags that will help prevent flooding from people who are not in jail. Could you get behind that? Because I think I could.
I could. It would have to be eligible inmates, the ones that they know are not going to be risky in any way, sense, or form, that can be around people. No dangerous, super dangerous offenders. I wouldn't let certain people have the privilege of being let out early. That would be where I'd be like, okay, can we find something else out?
They used to have what were called chain gangs, and the chain gang was a bunch of inmates, and they all got chained together so no one could run.
Yeah.
And their whole job was to go out and do things that help contribute to society. When did we stop doing that?
That's a great question. That's exactly what I was going to ask. I'm not sure what the history is on it, or why we don't do it. We know that community service is a thing. That's a very popular thing for a sentence, but it's not a chain gang.
Even these people that are getting bail when they've committed some pretty bad crimes, if we're going to give you bail, not what we want to do, but some judge says you get it, I would be okay with even making them do it. Yeah, you're lucky to be out on release, but you got to kick in 3 hours a day doing community service, actual community service, not just some of the stuff that kids make up when they want to get their credit from high school. I mean, like collecting donations for the United Way. Maybe that's not a good idea. We don't want them handling cash.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, like cleaning parks and things
All
like
those
that.
things. Yeah.
Somebody has to. Did you see the Parks Department in Toronto is under a lot of fire? The Auditor General audited the hours sheets and then audited the GPS tracker locations of some of the trucks that they use and found that some of the people that work for Toronto parks aren't going to any parks. Vehicles parked for hours at Yorkdale, parked in plazas, at restaurants. They're going everywhere except to do their actual job.
That is not okay.
And you know what? I bring it up. It's Toronto. It's easy to pick on them, but I'd be willing to bet that goes on in every single municipality.
I bet you it does.
Every single homeowner is paying taxes, and that's what's being done with it. Somebody's got to clean that up. Octavia, what do you think of my idea to go back to the way it was and get some of these people that are in jail doing true community service that would actually make things better? If the Grand River is going to flood one day and we know it's coming, why don't we get inmates fill in sandbags? Would you be okay with that?
I don't see why that would be an issue because, I mean, everybody's paying taxes to house them in those places and everything. So for them to be able to, I don't want to say, return the favor in a way and contribute, I think that's, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's our idea of the day for Doug. Speaking of which, though, change was announced yesterday, and this will affect all women at some point in their lives. You no longer need a doctor's referral for a mammogram in Ontario. The province is spending nearly $20 million to boost appointments and train staff, with the new changes taking effect immediately. The health minister announced last year the province was lowering the age for breast cancer screening self-referrals from 50 to 40. The government estimates that there's 1 million women between the ages of 40 and 49. About 305,000 of them are going to seek out this screening. My question is, seriously, you couldn't get a mammogram before 50?
Yeah, that's, you know what? It shouldn't be a struggle. You know how many women I know as well? Unfortunately, I actually know a handful of them who had breast cancer, are fighting it, or have fought the good fight and won. One of which I went to college with, under the age of 40, who had breast cancer.
This is the thing. It's not a disease. It only strikes when you're over 40.
No, and I feel like, I mean, I can't speak to what's happening now. I've heard that anecdotally, there's a surge in cases under 40. I don't know if that's true, but I can tell you that I do know of people who have. And the fact that even someone who is related to someone who's had breast cancer, if you're under 40, it's still you don't have to wait. You don't have to do it now. Just wait till you're 40. It's fine.
Doctors almost kind of blow you off.
Yeah,
you don't want one of those.
And nobody should feel like, if you have a concern, or even if to ease your own mind, for peace of mind alone, you should be allowed to do that without feeling that pressure back.
Right.
To not. It doesn't make sense to me.
So the way it works with this self-referral, as they're calling, typically, for those who don't know, you'd have to go to the doctor, and the doctor would write up a script or something and say, yeah, you need to go for a mammogram or a diagnostic thing or whatever. And then you had to go to the breast screening clinic and have that done. Now, you can skip the step of going to your doctor. You can just book an appointment directly through the breast screening clinics. Should have always been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that affects so many women in the world. And if there's something out there that can help screen and we know that early detection is the best prevention, then why on earth? It shouldn't even be 40, 30, 20. If you feel something is wrong, if you find a lump in your breast, you should be able to go and get that checked. No questions asked. Forget about how old you are. Go and get it checked. You don't even need to go to the doctor. You should just be able to call the breast screening clinic and go.
Yeah, and it's not even, I know a couple of cases I've heard about this is also in the United States, not necessarily in Canada, but there's some people who found it too late, and asked their doctor about it previously, and their doctor kind of brushed them off. And then they find themselves in that situation where they're already past the stage where they wanted to be, because early detection is key, right?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's good progress. Don't get me wrong. Glad they're finally doing it.
Yeah.
I just think that there's probably a little more we can do. Speaking of more we can do, and this will be the last thing we get to in this episode because we're already at time. Sad to say, it's going to be jarring for some because anytime we hear about an animal in distress, it's hard to hear. Another beluga whale has died at Marineland. The fourth whale to die at that Niagara Park since last November. 4 of them in less than a year. 16 beluga whales and 1 killer whale have died at the park since 2019. Ontario's Animal Welfare Services have sent inspectors to the park 200 times. That park is now up for sale, only open 2 months this year. They're awaiting a new owner, and it's unclear what the long-term plan is for the animals.
Okay, so they're still awaiting that new owner to come in. I'm just shocked that marine land is even a thing, but I know it's not easy to move these animals, now of which we have another one dead.
Yeah.
But that's sad, you know? That's very sad.
What's going on there, though? What I don't understand is there's lots of aquariums, and Marineland takes a lot of heat, particularly from animal rights activists. I don't know if it's justified or not. I don't know really what goes on behind the scenes at Marineland or how they take care of their animals. But I do know that we don't hear about this at Ripley's. We don't hear about this at SeaWorld and all the other ones. Why is Marineland different? Is it the climate? Things seem to change when we brought the belugas in. They had those killer whales there the whole time I was growing up, and there was never any issues. Then they brought the belugas in, and it seems to have caused nothing but problems.
Yeah, I don't know if we can pinpoint it exactly, or maybe somebody can. I don't know what the big difference is. I never really liked the sea animals in captivity thing. I understand for certain purposes, some places have sanctuaries and things like that. That's great. And breeding programs and all the other things that are fine. But I never liked it. I went once to Marineland.
And?
I did not like it. I mean, I got a bad feeling about it, to be honest with you. And then I went to, it was like a deer park they had. I don't even know if they have that anymore.
Right.
But I remember you had to walk a long while and there's nothing around. Like even when I went years and years and years ago, I remember thinking, there's not much happening here anyway.
Kind of run down.
It's kind of run down. There wasn't much going on. And I thought, this is kind of making me feel icky that I even paid money to come in here. Like, what am I doing? You know, I didn't feel good about it.
I hear you. I don't know what these inspectors were doing or what they were looking for, but I have to think that if inspectors were sent out 200 times, they either didn't find anything or we need new laws, because that's what, 4 whales in a year?
Yeah.
Oh, almost 20 of them in 5 years, and it's still open? Despite 200 inspections? That's a problem.
Yeah. Apparently some people went this summer because they figure it was the last summer for Marineland, period.
Oh.
So that's the reason why some of them went, or they went for the splash park is what I'm reading. Because I looked into it to figure out like who's still going to this. And apparently that they have a good splash park. I don't know. I've never gone to it. But that's one of the reasons why people go.
They do say it's for sale. The owner, I guess, passed away and his wife is running it now. That's the story that I heard anecdotally. But it is for sale. If a big conglomerate came in or a big zoo came in, for example, and said, we're going to take over Marineland and we're going to focus on conservation, not just putting on shows where a sea lion will bounce a ball on its nose, that sort of thing. I think people would go again. It's in the perfect location. Yeah. It's just too much has happened over the years and it's got a bad rap.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think a lot would have to change. A lot would have to be different about whatever the new ownership ends up.
Well, no doubt the people that work there probably had a very strong bond with the beluga that passed away. So condolences to them. I just hope that they figure it out. And I'd like to see that be a big attraction again. Even if it doesn't involve marine animals, they could still have a marine land with a great set of roller coasters like Wonderland or something like that. Yeah. There has to be a new evolution of it. And I hope they figure it out before any more animals have to die like that. And, well, what a way to end the pod.
Yeah.
Dead animals, I know. Fuck. All right, well,
Dead podcast studio, dead animals. Look at us today.
if there's any electricians listening right now, unless things are fixed tomorrow, we may need to call you. Again, to our friends and listeners in Florida, we're thinking about you. Be safe tonight. Godspeed. We will be talking about Hurricane Milton tomorrow on After 9, plus anything else we can come up with.
Bye, friends.
In honor of the movie's 40th anniversary, Krispy Kreme is offering a Ghostbusters-themed menu, including a Slimer donut. And whatever you do, don't Google Slimer donut at work.
One of the biggest French fry factories in North America is closing because Americans are eating fewer French fries. People are eating fewer French fries. Then every Uber Eats driver was like, speak for yourself.
A Florida man was arrested last week after he allegedly stole $30,000 worth of marijuana and other merchandise from a dispensary. And then this morning, the employees realized they were being robbed.